Welcome everybody everywhere to the Sound Good podcast, a relatively safe waste of 30 to 40 minutes. I'm your host, Michael.
Hi, I'm Micah. Fuck. I said I would wing it.
And on today's show...
and I couldn't.
And on today's show, we'll be discussing the new album, The Grand Delusion by the Intersphere, amongst other news-related things
Newsos.
In the music world and other stuff. What did you say?
Newsos.
Newsos. A lot of fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Micah,
Newsoo.
are you ready?
I'm ready
For this episode?
Uh-huh.
I think this is going to be a fun
Hit
episode.
that music.
So we're going to start off with some news on this episode, as we usually do. Do you want to start first or should I?
I always take the lead. Why don't you this time?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to start with a tour announcement.
Oh, yeah.
As we always seem
I sad
to do.
reacted at this one.
Redundantly redundant. Yeah, the Minnesota-based math rock emo band Tiny Moving Parts announced they are doing a tour from March 27th all the way to April 13th.
Nowhere
Looks
near
like
us.
they're coming from like North Carolina all the way out to Illinois and Iowa. Is as far as they're going.
That's with Free Throw, right?
Yeah, with Free Throw and World's Greatest Dad, both amazing bands.
That's a great band.
Seriously, dude, that I have been following them for like the last 6 months, and I am so glad to see them on a tour with both of these bands.
Well, yeah, when we
So
saw
that's
them
dope.
together, they were with Free Throw. So that was, it's good to just see them together.
Oh
again.
yeah, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, great show.
Free Throw's so good.
That'll hopefully be a banger.
Mm-hmm.
Info about the tour is both on their Facebook page and at tinymovingparts.com/tour.
If I had the energy, I would totally go to the Iowa show, but
Yeah, right.
that's a little more
Tickets are on sale now,
commitment.
too, by the way.
Wow, that sounded
Yeah.
super shilly.
Yeah, well, I'm just letting everybody know. I'm just letting everyone know they're on sale.
All right.
Iowa City's 4 hours away from me, unfortunately. But
That's so how is that so far?
you're telling me,
Fucking
dude.
Midwest.
I didn't know it was that far east of Des Moines. I thought it was right north of Des Moines, dude. My geography's all fucked up.
All right. Yeah. What's your next
anyway.
news?
Oh, I'm gonna go 2 in a row then. Okay.
Go 2 in a row.
All right. My next bit of news is going to be about the punk rock band Bikini Kill and how they announced on
That's also a great name. That sounds like
how
an
they
anime.
announced.
It super does, and
You're right. You're right. It totally does.
An anime that
But
I
no,
would
they
love.
announced-
Everyone would be disappointed in me for liking it. I miss you, Kaijo. Sorry, continue.
Oh no! Oh my god, dude. But no, they announced on Tuesday that they would be reuniting for a limited number of tour dates in New York and LA this coming spring. It's apparently their first show since 1997, and they're going to be accompanied by guitarist Eric Don Lyle.
I like that name. Just thought this.
Yeah,
This
right?
is the good name podcast. Sound good name.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently they were a big punk band back in the 90s, and they made a name for themselves performing feminism-fueled anthems and by encouraging women and girls to join in on the cultural resistance by starting bands.
I'm sure,
and the
honestly,
such.
I feel like that helped because we're having a lot of pretty good, like, just participation, I guess, in various types of genres with more females. It's really cool.
Yeah, dude. I mean, hey, man, women make good music, too.
Yeah, kudos to them. Well, not even
Hell
that.
yeah.
I just also mean, like, women coming to see certain genre shows, like, as an audience
Right.
member.
Sure, yeah, the involvement is great.
I'm glad that it's a lot
nice
more.
to see more diversity.
And inclusiveness. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right. Am I going again,
No,
or...
I'll go, because I have some little baby ones.
All right.
So I guess we're probably going to have a counter on this too, but it's cool, and they put it out. Church Girls announced a bundle of their previous first debut EP and their upcoming EP, Cycles, which is out on the 25th. So you can get a bundled vinyl LP. So it's kind of like an album. Did I talk about that already?
I think you did bring that up last
shit.
week.
Did I?
I think you
no.
did bring it up last
Cut
week.
it.
But just in case you
Yeah.
didn't though, just as a reminder,
Yeah.
they did put out like a 12-inch LP style combination of both of their EPs that are the current one that's out that we were talked about last year, and then the upcoming one.
Yeah, it's kind of a extraneous purchase on my part since I got the first EP on vinyl, but that was a lathe cut, and I don't think this will be. So that's
looks like just regular vinyl.
Yeah, and then for my little round of news before we cycle it back to you is Bandcamp they announced that they're gonna have a physical store, I guess, which sounds really exciting for independent bands, all things considered.
Yeah, we shared an article about that on the page this last week, I believe.
Yeah, if anyone ever does follow the podcast eventually and follow places, they'll just see that the Facebook page is mostly so I can document news stories.
No, I'm just pointing it out because there's just, you actually shared like a link to it, the article that was talking about it, so there's a lot more information in there. But
so the quote for it, I guess to describe it, is that Bandcamp will open a record shop and performance space in the great city of Oakland, California, and will feature a selection of records that showcase the diversity and design of the more than 5 million albums available on Bandcamp, and they will host free all ages shows as part of like marketing video series.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah, and so it's not clear if they're actually going to stock like nationwide bands in the store or if it's going to be more locally focused. It sounds like it might just be a mix of both. But overall, I think that's a incredible step forward for like smaller bands.
Definitely. All
right.
right.
What's your other news?
Back to me. All right, back to me. All right. There was an announcement back in November of 2018 that Vampire Weekend, popular indie band of the early 2010s.
Yeah.
Vampire Weekend. There was an announcement that their new album, they would have a new album coming out in 2019, and it was the band's first album since 2013. So
I haven't heard of them,
and it would be their
in a while.
Yeah. Their last album came out in 2013, and Modern Vampires of the City.
They've vanished.
Yeah. But there was actually that was announced back in November, and then just Friday, Ezra, what's his last name? Koenig? Ezra Koenig? Yeah. Ezra Koenig, frontman Ezra Koenig, confirmed that the new 2019 album would be a double album, actually.
Nice.
So, it's going to be, he said, 18-track double album, clocking in at around 59 minutes worth of new material.
Honestly, I feel like considering their genre, that's quite a bit.
Yeah. For an indie record, it's quite a long spin.
I think like I always got them confused with Cage the Elephant because they just both have like really weird indie band names, you know?
Yeah, right.
That's always my first thought. I don't think I've heard music from either. I just was aware of their popularity back in high school.
Yeah, I've never really been a big Vampire Weekend fan, but I mean,
there may have been like
emo,
one Guitar Hero World Tour song by them.
Yeah, I think they had a song on Guitar Hero.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, that's all I have for
Is that all you have?
News.
So
that's all I have for news.
Okay, I have 3 more.
Okay. Oh jeez, you made me spill all mine.
Yeah, I'm trying to make you look bad.
All right. Well.
And I just look good.
All right, we'll see. We'll see how long this takes. Then.
Damn. No, it's gonna go fast. So, who cares? Demon Hunter dropped another set of singles from their War and Peace double album. I just thought I'd mention that since I mentioned it before. These new songs are called The Negative and Recuse Myself. That's why I was looking up that word.
Yeah.
Because I thought it said Rescue Myself, because I feel like that's
a more Demon Hunter thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very Christian rock band thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's a more Demon Hunter thing.
Judgment and whatnot. But then on the flip side, 2 releases that are actually a little more interesting is that Devin Townsend, just like within the last week or so, announced the details for his 19th studio album, which he's been recording for a long time, and I think that's mostly because he's had like a ton of guest appearances.
I still love that 19th studio album.
Yeah, since he started like his like music career in 1993. not even on that band because he started out strapping young lad.
Was it 93 or 96?
90. Devin Townsend's solo project started in 96.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah, he's had several fucking albums across all his projects. But yeah, I think almost every instrumental performance, other than some like a lot of the guitars, I think there's gonna be guest solos, but almost everything else other than stringed instruments are like several different guest performances.
Huh.
Like there's several different drummers and just different singers and whatnot. But
interesting.
Yeah, he announced the album art for it and the name of it, which is going to be Empath, and it's going to come out on March 29th. So kind of quick turnaround on the mixing of that album.
Cool.
And I'm excited. Like I was I kind of held back pre-recording conversation because the first 9 tracks are just kind of names. I think it's going to be a double album for sure. And disc 2, I'm assuming will be tracks 10 through 15, and they're all called Singularity Part 1, Singularity Part 2, and on up to Part 6. So concept album again, yay.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. And his previous album, essentially, his previous album, technically studio album, was a live album, but previously it was another double album concept. So it was that Ziltoid 2, Z2.
Oh yeah, that's right, I remember Ziltoid.
God, the Sky Blue, like, because he always does the thing kind of like 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, where you have disc 1 that's just collection of songs, and then disc 2, which is the concept. And disc 1 of Z2 is so good. It's called Sky Blue, and it's just like the prettiest thing ever. Okay, and then another album that's out on March 29th. I think Devin Townsend's going to overshadow it, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
Is Whitechapel's new, like, their 7th album.
Oh, wow. They're still making music?
Yeah. This is it's a little bit more interesting than the previous stuff has been, because they've been trying to do bullshit stuff where it's like they just kind of put out songs and they've been coming off really kind of pretentious, honestly, like with the saw is the law, or the mark of the blade. The saw is the law. Like, I don't know what's going on with that, but
the saw is the law, obviously,
because their logo is a saw, and they're from North Carolina and whatever. But
it's the law.
But this new album's gonna be another concept album, like This Is Exile, or I guess The Somatic Defilement, kind of. And I think that they're a lot stronger when they're not trying to just write bullshit lyrics. I think if they stick to a concept, Phil Bozeman does a little better.
Sure.
Yeah, this album's going to be called The Valley, and it's going to focus a lot on, I think, the health and mental problems that his mom had and like his childhood. So stuff from that. The new single's called Third Depth, and I liked it a lot. It was honestly, the verses were really like odd timey and proggy, except my problem is that he's clean singing and he does not do good. No. It's not great. The gutturals are some of the best he's ever done, but they also sound like they're in a totally different key than the clean singing.
Oh no.
And the two keys don't go together at all. It sounded like he was trying to sing as a mix of like Corey Taylor clean singing and like Maynard James Keenan clean singing.
All right.
Yeah, it's like a gross mix of that. But okay, so that's all my news.
Like very much fun.
Ending on a high note.
So that's all you need. Yeah, ending on your high note for sure. Great. Well, that's all the news for today for this episode. Then fantastic.
Moving on to also something that's it's there.
Moving on to the review section of the podcast, where we will talk about this album after a noise is made now.
A brief. Okay. This is clearly a Micah recommendation. If anybody listens to this compared to some of the other stuff we talk about. The album that I thought would be interesting to talk about for the episode today was The Grand Delusion by the Germany-based band The Intersphere. They're labeled as prog rock. I'll talk about that in a second. But
Germany, huh?
yeah, you don't really hear that at all.
I knew they weren't American. I knew that
Really?
immediately listening to it. Oh yeah, listening to it, I was like, this isn't an American prog band.
Well, it was pretty fun. Like his accent, I wonder where. I need to look up where Delta Sleep was from again. I think they're from the UK, right?
Yeah, they're from the UK. I didn't catch an accent really. I just something about the music clicked in my mind. I was like, this is not American.
The inflection in his voice sometimes reminded me of Delta Sleep. Just first, like the singer from that band. But it was only like sometimes. But yeah, this is the fifth full release from the band, and it was put out on Long Branch Records. And
that's a nice record label name.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And I don't know. I guess for the lack of a better descriptor, I get that people would call it prog rock, and I definitely hear it in some of the melodies on this album because they are somewhat constructed like interestingly, but their songwriting is like really, really straightforward, and I don't know that that was really enough for me personally. Like, what were kind of your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I thought in general, this album was okay to listen to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing was offensive or anything.
It was, I wouldn't say that. It
Fair.
was.
I get you.
It was kind of like not knowing what to expect at all because you just. I just asked you. I was like, what are we listening to next week? And you're like, the Intersphere's new album, The Grand Delusion. And I was like, all right. Whatever.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, this was only on my radar because like new music news places were like new prog album by this band, and I was like, cool. And I listened to like a second, and I was like, you know what, that sounds that sounds promising. And I didn't listen to the whole thing before recommending it.
Which song? Because I feel like I heard one of these songs.
I think just Don't Think Twice, the title track. Yeah.
The track "Man on the Moon." I feel like I heard that before I listened to this album.
You know, I'm pretty sure that. There's probably just some bands you've listened to in the past that song is just really emulating, because I feel like I've heard that song too, but I totally haven't. You know what I'm saying?
It's really weird. It was very familiar sounding.
That song was channeling some like kind of nostalgia from some type of band,
some demon.
It kind of reminded like some form of Fall Out Boy, something they've maybe like aspects of what they've done in the past. It was really weird.
I don't know. It was definitely some kind of rock song that I was thinking it was
like from mid 2000s.
I don't know.
For me,
but anyway, no. My general feel of this album and this band, since this is my first introduction to the band, it kind of reminded me of Thank You, Scientist.
Yeah, minus, that too.
Minus the saxophone and violin or
and like technicality
and well, not even that really, just like minus the concert instruments, and then with like a generally lower range in vocals.
Yeah.
But yeah, it had a very heavy like Thank You Scientist style prog, which is why I understand it being called prog, because it felt like what made it proggy sounding was more, I want to say like more like interval selection.
Yes,
absolutely. In the music writing, rather than the style itself or the composition or the lyrical themes.
Yeah, like
because there was some really weird. While the vocalist's range is really nice and it's really good that he does have that like very versatile range and sound in his voice. There was like some really weird interval selections that made you kind of, hit your ear a little bit, and you're like, "Ooh, okay, well, I got to listen to that then."
Yeah, it is interesting. It's admittedly interesting that the broad songwriting is kind of more straightforward, like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus.
Right.
But yeah, like inside of each of those, they are doing like kind of interesting intervals, which kind of catch you off guard. So, there is kind of a subversion of like internal expectations on that.
Yeah. And like it's just hold on. No, sorry, I'm like coughing, like not coughing, but like hiccuping. Weird. What the fuck? Fuck, never mind. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
Weird intervals.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it's just something in the vocals that I thought really made the vocals specifically stand out, and that also helped remind me of Thank You Scientist.
Yeah, I think the vocalist definitely helps this band stand out against the genre that they're kind of being.
Yes, like shoehorned into almost, because there's a couple songs.
Otherwise, they'd be a little more forgettable.
Yeah, I want to say while I'll go back to saying good things about this album in just a second.
Yeah, so I.
Can Overflow just not exist? I thought this song was the biggest misstep on the album because, because the rest of the album has a fairly modern prog sound with the lower tuning on the guitars, whether it's just an extended range. They make use. They fit into that modern prog sound, but then they have this track that's just a straight rock track.
Yep, and it sounds like just radio butt rock for the most part.
Yeah, and it's just out of nowhere, and with the context of the prog happening around it, it feels very out of place, and I think the album would have benefited from its exclusion.
And I think it kind of makes you more aware, because I think what they're doing, like, it kind of feels like a song that they forgot to inject the prog into. Because I think that is their bass sound, and that's why I was kind of bringing that up. And
yeah, I could feel that. Yeah.
And I think that they're playing with that, and that's really cool because that is a really tired genre for the most part. Yeah. Because I was like, my brain immediately kind of just thought of like the song structure of like Nothing More, and like, I don't necessarily like that band because they are kind of boring. Right. And and I think hearing a boring song like Overflow, that's just like compared to everything else, it really highlights the standard rock aspects of all the other ones, and you kind of start to notice it more, which kind of brings it down.
It kind of brings the whole album down as a whole, because you start noticing, these are just regular rock progressions, kind of, there's nothing really interesting going on. Which, that being said, I want to say I think the song Antitype is probably the proggiest song on the album, and it is also probably my favorite.
Yeah, I would hard agree
Secret
with that.
Place. Secret Place is probably my second favorite.
Yeah, keep talking while I totally don't like go listen to it real quick.
they make a really good use in Antitype of the bouncing guitar melodies and riffs, with like that little like that kind of thing.
Yeah, like the delay pedal, I think. Probably.
Yeah, that, or it's just the way they're strumming it or something. The riff that plays throughout the majority of Antitype is probably like the most interesting thing on the album. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, and going to like A Secret Place, one of the points that I forgot to write down, but it probably just because it's really prominent in my brain about this album, they really, really know how to write catchy, hooky intros to songs. Like intros.
Yep, I was gonna say that too. I think a lot of their like hooks are pretty catchy too. Like I wrote in my notes, Secret Place gets a +1 for the catchy "You Are" bit.
That's great.
Towards like the end or something.
Choruses
Linger,
and opening lines.
Linger
of songs.
Was a really pretty catchy song. I have You Feel Better. You Feel Better When I Feel Bad or something.
That actually stood out to me as one of the like a pretty strong song actually.
Yeah, it was really dancey.
Yeah.
It felt like a really good dance rock song. Like, this album had its ups, but they were like really weird ups that didn't fit in context, and then it had a couple downsides too that just like really drugged the whole album down as a whole, because their transgressions were, I don't want to say so bad that they drug it down, but they were so noticeable that they were able to bring it down. And it's just with songs like Overflow and Shipwreck, in my opinion, being like the weakest ones on the album.
I wasn't too bad with Shipwreck. I thought that for the most part, I would agree that it just isn't that interesting, but the tone of it fits. I mean, because this counter, I always like to think about it, is that for an outro on an album, I thought that it kind of had like that vibe of this is the end of it pretty well nailed down, but overall, like the interesting factor just kind of wasn't there.
Well, I think it would have been better if it didn't get heavy. If it would have stayed
absolutely. The aspects
as
that
low
I liked,
as it was in the beginning, I think it would have been a good outro, because I was really digging it, but then once it got loud and heavy, or I just kind of went,
Yeah,
now
because
it's
it
just
wasn't really in a
generic
climactic
ending.
way. It was just kind of
No.
for the sake of getting heavy.
Yeah, they felt like they had to get heavy here.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I guess to get to some more positives, it's because once I kind of got past the expectation of listening to a fully prog album,
Right.
I enjoyed it a lot more. Because actually, I really hate to say it, I don't think that you listen to them enough to notice it, but some aspects kind of remind me of the more hard rock way that Papa Roach has been going. Like just really light aspects of it, though, because I listened to a shit ton of Papa Roach from that era, actually. But
Oh, wow.
yeah, but yeah, the production and mixing is actually really crisp. Surprisingly, I feel. I don't know why it's surprising, but I thought that all the instruments just had a really good voice, like that was pretty distinguishable. Especially like the bass. The bass is pretty fucking prominent, and it has a pretty chunky distortion to it a lot of the time. Like especially on like Secret Place, for example, because the style of that opening riff really lends itself to the bass doing that solo.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really like notice anything outstanding by any of the instruments.
Yeah, not like performance wise, but I just thought that it was mixed like really well.
Yeah.
And if you didn't notice that it was mixed badly, then I think that that's a testament to how good it is, because usually that's something that you don't notice unless you're really trying to focus on it.
It's passable at the very least.
Okay.
At the very least, it's passable.
It's no BT Bam mixing.
Yeah.
Reset the counter.
There it is. Wait, you already reset it in the news.
No, I didn't. I didn't talk about the shirt.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's all right.
Hey, they have a t-shirt for the fossil named after them. Go buy it. I'm not.
Damn it.
I have too much merch by them. I don't need more.
All right, we did it.
But yeah, I really also like talking. I thought that the vocal lines were really powerful because you talked about how there's like the choruses are really good, and I thought that there was a lot of good layering and depth in the mix for his vocals. Like, because it's basically only him. I didn't really hear any other background vocals at all from the other members.
Yeah, I don't think I heard any excessive layering or harmonies or.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, like when they want to be, the album was like really punchy and heavy on the distortion, which I thought those moments were pretty strong, except on Shipwreck.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, so it's really dynamic in that sense. I think that the only thing for me was that whenever a chorus did hit, the singer he has like a chorus mode on his voice.
Yeah, he really does.
And he kind of sings them all the same way.
I know exactly what you mean, yeah.
So like, for whatever reason, his vocal style just has like a weird chorus, like, setting that he switches on. So I think that's only a downside.
That's so funny.
More variation in that would have been nice, but like the verses between all the songs were always pretty varied to keep your interest.
Yeah, I'll agree on that. Yeah. Well, I don't really have anything else to talk about on this album.
Yeah,
it's a very standard album.
Yeah, big letdown in that sense. For me.
Yeah, I wouldn't rate it very high in any sort of way. Like it's
not a bad
it's an
listen.
album where if you need something new to listen to, maybe give it a try. If you like a little bit of prog in your rock, maybe give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for something hella proggy,
not this.
It's not. Don't listen.
It wouldn't be a good 51 minutes of your time. If that's
no,
what you're
and
looking for.
I don't think we mentioned that, but it's a really long.
It's a long album.
It's a really long album,
and it's 12 tracks.
Yeah.
But it's not bad.
It's an album. It's there.
I'm hoping
it's listenable.
I mean, I'd love to see them maybe do a little better, whichever genre they decide to go full force in, because I don't think they're doing that amazing in this in between. Maybe of like hard rock or prog,
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, my computer fell asleep.
Damn.
Yeah.
So I guess to cap that off, is there anything interesting in your life going on music wise? At the moment.
Music wise, I mean, no.
Damn.
I mean, I've been listening to like some cool stuff. I found some new music.
Ooh, what is it?
I found this band called Elephant Jake. They're kind of they're kind of an emo-y band. But I found their album "Hey Dude, Thanks for Coming."
Yep, I've heard that before.
Came out on November 20th of last year. So I've just been giving that a little spin. It's a pretty decent album. It's nice and fun, jumpy, energetic stuff.
Cool.
And then I had a friend of mine send me something that his brother shared with him. The album "Applause of a Distant Crowd" by this band called Vola, Vola.
Okay.
It's really, really interesting music.
What genre?
Hard to explain.
Just
hard
play
to explain,
a clip
hard
for
to
the
describe.
people.
I'm not playing a clip over my microphone.
Just play it straight from your phone into your microphone.
No, it's interesting though. I definitely recommend. It's kind of proggy. I think if I remember correctly, proggy indie-ish kind of.
Okay.
Really weird. Interesting for sure. I definitely recommend giving it a try.
Okay, I might.
How about you, friendo? Have you been listening to anything neat? Yeah, that's right. I'm putting you on the spot now.
For the sake of maybe just going back, I listened to Dream Theater Self-Titled again recently.
Oh yeah, how was it?
Yeah, for me at least, it's still a pretty good banger. I like it.
Pretty.
I like it a lot. Yeah. I bought the vinyl for Tillian's The Skeptic.
Oh, you did? So you actually did? Okay.
That'll get sent to me soon. They were out of the standard edition, which is like the vibrant red opaque vinyl. And they only have the limited black vinyl now.
Oh, so you had to get the limited black vinyl.
Oh no. But I wanted the cool one.
The standard edition. How dare you?
Yeah. But yeah, so I have that coming, and then I got the vinyl for 4 seconds ago because I just have like extra vinyl money right now, and I just thought I'd pick up some things that I missed. So yeah, the 4 seconds ago, and I think that has this really nice what is it? It's not transparent, it is opaque, but it has like this really nice like mirror like blue, like robin's egg blue.
Ooh.
On it. Yeah, like I don't know how to describe it. It kind of looks like when you look at the back of a CD.
Oh. That
like
is
a
weird.
really like shined CD.
That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, and
it's a chrome record.
Almost. Almost.
You got a chrome disc actually.
Kind of, but it's not like shiny.
1970s technology.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I've listened to it. Like I checked out the singles that I mentioned in the news, so for the most part I thought that Whitechapel at least are doing something interesting, so I like that sort of, but I still had a ton of gripes about the the clean singing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I listened to a lot of Intersphere. So
unfortunate. Unfortunate week of music listening for us both.
Damn. All right, so what are we going to listen to next week, though?
You know what? I don't know.
It's a mystery.
We'll figure it out after we stop recording. You'll never know.
1, 2, 3. Oh, shit, were we like...